Hey everybody. Sorry I've been MIA, I guess you could say, the last few days. Or it's been like a week. I did make a video yesterday, but somehow it deleted. So I either accidentally did it or it deleted itself. Whatever one sounds more believable to you, you can use. But knowing me, I probably did accidentally delete it. But I'll go with the mystery so I'm not kicking myself in the butt. I had a very, very bad BPD week. I let it tear me up, chew me up, spit me out, whatever. For literally no reason. I have my rejection and fear of failure is probably neck and neck with my fear of abandonment. They kind of go together, I guess, hand in hand. And for those of you that do not know, December 26, 2017, I was my sixth and most fatal suicide attempt. So I have an even bigger complex of I've tried to kill myself 6 times and I couldn't even succeed at that, which sounds stupid, I know, but for those of you that have BPD or mental illnesses that a mental illness or whatever it may be that has a ridiculous control over your mind, body, your power, your sense of who you are. I cannot say for other people or people that don't have BPD, and there's not every single person in the world with BPD has the same symptoms. Some people only have 5, some people have all 9. And just because you fit the criteria doesn't boil it down to the 2 sentences that's underneath the criteria. That really drives me crazy that an example of fear of abandonment, there was one site that says can or will make you do crazy absurd behaviors because of your fear of abandonment, real or imagined. How that's worded is ridiculous. Like, I get what they're saying, I understand what they're saying, but in the beginning of my diagnosis, I wouldn't have accepted that. So, anyway, it does get me down that bad sometimes and make me feel like I am failure of all failures. With that being said, I got the borderline diagnosis after I just got it in September of last year. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to harm myself. Sometimes, okay, let me take that back. Sometimes I still want to cut because there is multiples of reasons that I self-harm. Sometimes it would be because I needed to feel something other than what's inside of here. Sometimes I cut because I had to make sure that I was actually alive and this was real life, and I'm living this reality that just seems so fictitious. Sometimes I cut because I felt just completely empty inside, and who's gonna love an empty person, an empty shell? But then 30 seconds later, I could be bawling my eyes out over a turtle in the road. I mean, trying to explain to somebody how I can feel so empty and be so emotional all at the same time is probably the most challenging explanation to ever come up with. Don't mind me, I am cleaning and working on getting my craft room set up today, so I'm really excited about that. And on my podcast, I was, which I'm going to share this today with my podcast, but on my podcast today, I got my first message, and it was super sweet, sounded like a young girl, made me super happy, but she asked me to recite. If you haven't, let me back up a minute. If you haven't listened to my podcast today, remember it's anchor.fm/Beyond the Borderline. It's called Borderline Personality. Let's talk about it. It's very important to talk about it. Everything. Best therapy for you. And when I say that, I don't mean go tell your worst enemy everything you don't want your worst enemy to know. Now, my worst enemy can watch this YouTube channel and she can have at it. But there's a saying that goes, what is it? Watch your truth, but don't tell no lies. So I am living by that motto because of what happened. I'm a big fat liar, and I don't ever want to feel obligated to lie about anything ever again in my life, which I will go into that more in detail on tomorrow's segment, because I have some research that I'm going to bring into this, and it'll be really, really good for those of you that are just learning about BPD, whether you're a family member, you're a husband, a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, aunt, uncle, nephew, a child, a parent, or the diagnosee yourself. I have been putting a lot of time and research into tomorrow's episode, and it will be one of the longer episodes I've had, but it is going to be very informative. It's just going to be really, really good. So definitely tune in tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, back to my podcast. Yesterday, I recited a poem on my podcast. About halfway in it, I got really into it, and I started reading it like it's supposed to be read. And this little lady asked me to do another one. And so since I am conjoining or whatever I'm trying to say here, doing my YouTube channel and my podcast today all in one, I am going to recite or read, however I need to say this. Another poem today. And then I'll quit talking and I'll let y'all go, I promise. Give me just a second. Oh, and don't forget to ask me questions. If you want me to research something, I am a self-educated queen. If I do not know, I will know. So, like, feel free to ask me questions. Interact with me. I would love to interact with y'all. Any BPD people out there that just, want to swap stories or get to know another borderline. I would truly enjoy that because I still have yet to meet one or even have a conversation with another borderline, really. So feel free to reach out. You can go to my podcast and send me a message on there. I would love to get somebody on my podcast with me and co-host with me, or so I can interview. Possibilities are endless. We just gotta make it happen. So, all right. By the way, this is coming out of the book that I am publishing in about 3 weeks. I don't have an exact date yet, but about 3 weeks it will be published. I'm super, super excited, but I'm not giving away a bunch of information on it. When it is published, I will send out information on how to get it, and I am making an ebook copy, and eventually we will have some paperback copies. Those will be print to order, but that'll be like 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks after my ebook launch. But these are not going to be super expensive books. None of my poetry books will be, because I want you guys to be able to buy them. I want you to be able to read them. I don't, I know for me and where the places I have been, $9.99 was too much for a book. So the price is going to be, I will tell you this, the price will be lower than $9.99. But like I said, I've given all the information out. As it comes in, I talk in circles. I told you I talk in circles. My kids do the same thing. All right. Okay, so yesterday, trigger warning, I'm just going to throw this out here. Yesterday, I gave away on my podcast another poem that's in here. So that's what I'm going to read, and it is called Suicide. So yes, trigger warning, it may get intense. And I'm not going to look at this camera while I'm doing this because I want to have the full effect going in. So, I'm going to look from here. Suicide. My friend, Suicide, let me tell you about her. She is soft and she is sweet. She lets you in with comfort until you feel defeat. Oh, dear Suicide, she will give you the illusion of heaven, but put you through hell. She will be sweet until desperate is all you feel. She won't let you reach out to a single soul. Every time you try, she will tug and pull. until you feel crazy and helpless, until you look around and the rumors are true, your name is Mrs. Lovelace. Do you know who could love you? He took your soul at just 7 years old. It's been pounded in your head by everyone you told. The sin goes on, punishment for free. But me, an innocent, it wakes up every day. I can't forget the touch, every smell. The smell of Stetson, the sin of Old Spice. I can smell. In almost every place I go, every older man that I see, I'm scared of everything man I know. So frightened, I had to find a way to go. I knew my thoughts weren't rational, but I couldn't trust a soul. Please, I begged for someone to hear my cries. Not a soul saw the sadness that lay deep within my eyes. Those who had done this evil had to have known her soul is broken, right? But the day I tried to take my life, not as they let me lay, there in strife, asking others how could anyone do this to me? Why should I be punished? How is this my fault as I sit here and try to take my own life? All those times God didn't let her die. She never did or couldn't understand why. In this episode we call life, she is still battling depression. Every day she wonders why she couldn't complete her own suicide. She's tired of hanging on, pills even cut her wrist just right. She was still stuck here, trying to find out why. It'd be easier just to say she was an addict. There is no stigma behind addiction. It's welcomed as a disease, but her feeling worthless and not having purpose is this world isn't enough for a soul to understand. Might get emotional, guys. She lost all that was supposed to stand behind her. Those who should have seen her falling apart, breaking at all of her seams. She was alone. Even with the people that surrounded her, she is alone. She is alone now, with naught but a soul in her sight. She still feels like it's wrong to talk about how she feels. Honestly, she doesn't know how. She had always been shamed for her emotions, made fun of because of her tears. She tried to be tough and hide behind them, and she holds them back until she can't, but she still doesn't come out and say, today, I thought of suicide again. Hello, everybody. I just want to die. How everyone would just be better off if she were dead, if I were dead. You know, just like Andrew said. The comments he made when I asked him for help raising his own child. Then the feedback he got to Meg when I tried to take my life and make his dreams come true. Or Travis when he and his father and his sister got to raise my first baby as their own. But where the fuck were they up until that day? She was 11, not 2, not 5 or 7. I worked 3 jobs to try to support them and give them it all. No help from their fathers. They just enjoyed watching me fall. So today they get to convince them I surely can't love them at all. I have been trying to come back from this and cope. Go to therapy and counseling. Even had a hospital stay. I still can't bounce back. I still can't bounce back. I'm bouncing back as the piece of shit. Also, I was never a drug addict at all. No, once again. No, I wasn't addicted to drugs. Maybe a short stint with alcohol. But I learned quickly I wasn't addicted. Quit with no withdrawal. I did, however, use it to cover up the hurt and the pain, the discomfort I never want to feel again. Here I stand begging to a God I no longer believe in. Please help me. I lean on to you, hearing the promise He heals all wounds. I'm still hurting. Can't find my way out. I keep going, keep trying, as my love tells me to. I can't conquer the world in one day. It's been a year and a half and I've done isolated everyone, always moving around but trapping myself in the same kind of users. This time it's just him and I. He doesn't understand the loneliness that I feel. He's never been here. Depression never emerged to him. So for him, this isn't real. I wish I dared to let him in and know how deep it's getting again. How close I am to becoming. How close I am to bringing. How close I am to forgetting all this pain. Who am I kidding? I want to bring it all to the dark, bitter end, but I'll probably just fail again. I don't want to do this anymore, and there is not much fight left in me. A minute alone feels like a year in solitude. Can I please just come clean? Can I please speak out and let the emptiness free? But I just want to be alone. I can't be left alone. I can't be left alone in my thoughts. Depression won this battle. I can't wake up and can't be in peace. All the coping tricks no longer work. I miss my babies beyond your belief. Your subliminal messages, you call words, the memories of their faces are just drifting down a spiral of sadness. The fight is just about over, and I am weak, just like you knew I'd always be. This is what they wanted at just age 3. Never a sister that carried my blood, but an enemy that knew I would flood. You win, jealous that the touch wasn't just for you. But I was fresh, and that soul just wanted to feel me too. You say I was carefree, sure. It's just what I wanted. To believe a grown man fondling me was a love so true. Sure, he taught me to drive and fix motors. To this day, I play dumb and pretend I'm helpless. I give every second of those days back, not just to feel so lifeless. What makes this all so sad is I give all of my days and everything I love to go back, to provide all of you a better picture of this life, to be happier and not so bitter, to keep you away from every drug and any booze that could ever affected your soul. And what hurts the most is I never getting a cup of water. I never got the cup of water. I never got a cup of water. I would never receive your cup of water if I was burning on fire, if I was burning alive. I know this because my soul is dying. I wanted to die so badly, but needed to know someone cared. My life, I'll never understand why I was spared. It's a battle I fight daily. Some days I pray to God, please save me. But remember, I no longer believe in you. Other days I think, of the next best way to end me. And it comes out so sanely. But I'll wake up tomorrow and fight it all once more. I'll start by reading a fucking scripture on love that doesn't matter because it doesn't matter because it abandoned me too. I'll remind myself that I am worthy and remember those who stand with me. I'll probably shed a few tears, look to my left, and even though he may not know how sad I am, he looks in my eyes and he tries to make me laugh. He lets me know he's here and looks me in the eyes and tells me to slow down. It will all come together. He says I'll pray to God, knowing I don't believe such fictitious creature. Sending out false hopes. But then I find myself praying to a God I don't believe in, saying I can't do this on my own. But somehow I still manage to have another tomorrow. Sorry, that was really long and gets me every time. So, I wasn't the best reading I ever had, but just so everybody knows, I'm not suicidal anymore. That was actually wrote a year ago, and it is still one of my favorites because I was feeling so much and going through so many different things all at once, and you could definitely feel it and hear that. But I'm gonna go set up my craft room, and I'll show you all that tomorrow too. And don't forget, check out my podcast. Write me a line. My email is on there. Reach out, communicate. Let me get you on my podcast or something. We can talk, exchange stories. I got some pretty crazy ones. So, all right. Don't forget to subscribe and like my video. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow.